911. What is your emergency? Susan Hargrove shrieked into her phone, jabbing a finger straight at my chest from the edge of my own driveway. He is committing felony HOA violations and refuses to comply. I stood on the porch of my ranch house, coffee cooling in my hand, stunned that this woman was reporting me to the police for grass that might have been a quarter-inch too tall. My pulse hammered. She had just crossed a line she could never uncross. The morning sun glinted off her silver sedan as she stepped out, smoothing her teal blazer for the fourth time. Clipboard clutched like a shield, measuring tape dangling from trembling fingers. She snapped photos of my fence line before we had even spoken. I wiped my hands on my jeans and walked to the gate. Morning, I called, voice steady. She jumped, papers fluttering, then squared her shoulders like a bantam rooster. Good morning. I am Susan Hargrove, president of Pine Ridge Meadows Homeowners Association. Your property violates multiple community standards. That is interesting, I replied, leaning on the post. What jurisdiction does Pine Ridge have over this ranch? Full legal authority over the entire development, she snapped, words tumbling too fast. Show me your HOA federal registration, then. The clipboard slipped. Violation notices scattered across the gravel like confetti at a funeral. She dropped to her knees, scrambling after them, blazer riding up, knees dirty. Through my office window, I knew she could glimpse HUD-stamped folders marked Western Regional Compliance Confidential. My radio crackled. Field Unit 4, status check. I keyed it casually. Security sweep normal. Valuable assets secure. Susan gathered her papers, stood, and tried to regain composure. I will return tomorrow with documentation. This is not finished. Take your time, I said. I am not going anywhere. She drove off, but idled at the corner, watching through her rearview mirror while I answered a call from a Washington number in crisp federal cadence. Yes, sir. Field report to D.C. by Friday. Day 2, she marched back with a red pen and a thicker stack, accusing me of fence height violations, unpermitted livestock, and unauthorized commercial activity. I countered with questions about interstate commerce filings and HUD oversight. Her face flushed crimson. We do not answer to HUD. This is local. My tablet displayed the Federal Register. My phone conversation about escalating subjects was deliberately loud enough to carry. Expensive monitoring gear glowed through the window. Susan left with wrinkled papers and one untied shoe. Day 3, she brought 3 reluctant neighbors as backup. I greeted each by name, asked after their kids, and watched them melt away from her side. Overhearing my staged worry about legal costs, Susan glowed with false sympathy. That is why we encourage voluntary compliance. I opened the Federal Register to Section 12.7 and mentioned helping draft it. Her smile evaporated. Neighbors began volunteering their own horror stories to me instead of her. She departed alone, final notice demanding $2,000 fluttering and shaking hands. Day 4, she arrived unhinged, blazer stained, hair escaping its bun. She kicked over my no trespassing sign, trespassed anyway, and invaded my space screaming about imaginary threats. I activated my body camera, red light steady. When she dialed 911 claiming a weapon and imminent danger, I kept my hands visible and my voice calm. Squad cars rolled in within minutes, lights painting the pasture red and blue. Officers approached cautiously until I produced Texas ID and federal credentials. The lead deputy radioed for a supervisor. Bodycam playback showed Susan trespassing, lying, fabricating danger while I stood peaceful. False emergency report, ma'am. That is a crime. She tripped over the sign she had kicked, phone skidding across asphalt. I offered a hand. She recoiled as if I were poison. Black SUVs arrived. Agent Fletcher stepped out, tablet in hand. Director Harris, preliminary sweep identifies 23 linked fraudulent HOAs. Your fieldwork just cracked the network. Susan whispered 23 from the back of the patrol car, then vomited into an evidence bag. I faced her across the hood. Charles Harris, Director of Federal HOA Oversight, Department of Housing and Urban Development. This ranch is the Western Regional Field Office. You targeted the one person in 12 states empowered to investigate you. Her legs gave out. She sat hard on the curb, cycling through shock, nausea, and trembling surrender. Federal accountants traced $47,000 laundered through fake fees. Forensic teams cataloged every forged notice. Residents lined up with folders thick as phone books, eager to testify. News helicopters circled. Susan saw her booking photo beneath the Chiron Federal HOA fraud ring busted. Court was swift. Judge Elena Ramirez sentenced her to 18 months federal prison, 3 years supervised release, full restitution, and a lifetime ban from any HOA role. Pine Ridge Meadows HOA was dissolved by federal decree. Refund checks arrived at a community center ceremony. Property values jumped 15% overnight. 1 year later, the sunrise looks the same, horses grazing, coffee steaming, but the radio reports zero illegal HOA activity across monitored sectors. The Federal HOA Reform Act passed unanimously, my testimony on C-SPAN. 47 fake associations dismantled nationwide. Children chalk sidewalks without fear. Neighbors barbecue where Susan once held hostile meetings. Susan serves her time in gray, picking highway trash in an orange vest under ankle monitoring. Her house sold at foreclosure to fund victim restitution. The system worked, no vigilantes, no violence, just evidence, due process, and the quiet power of legitimate authority. Ever faced a bully hiding behind fake rules? Ever watched the system deliver real justice? Drop your story below. Where do you stand on fighting injustice, patient evidence, or immediate confrontation? Speak up. Every voice strengthens the next case.